video and then hit go live.
And music.
Wow.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
All right. So we've got some pretty awesome stuff to talk about today, actually. First of all, the Ethereum merge went off without a hitch a few. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone was kind of expecting it to, but it's always nice to know that it went well. Of course, we did see some, negative price action in that happening as well, but that was kind of to be anticipated because, even good news in these bear.
You guys freeze? Did Tony just freeze?
I think Tony just froze for a second, but yeah, it was turned out to be kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news event, as we've seen the last few days have been bearish, especially with the S&P 500 not doing a whole lot today, even though it did have a positive day. But it was kind of to be expected to be, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing, because it was such a long time coming.
Can you hear me again?
We can.
Yep.
Oh,
It
okay.
did
Yeah,
push the price action, during, on the upcoming days to the merge, from $900 all the way up to like $1,1700. So that was pretty impressive. But obviously, the investors that had purchased the Ethereum have begun to sell off now as well.
Hey, what's up, Albert? So actually, you know what? I think without further ado, honestly, we should get into our big news.
Yep. So we just published the Bear Classic templates, the Classic Bear templates for Killer Whale. And basically what those do is they have a set of triggers which switch templates for you automatically based on
Dylan just
exponential
frozen.
moving average a couple months here. So yeah, essentially what'll happen is you'll upload the, you'll basically go to the marketplace, make sure you have the right classic template downloaded. You'll save that template as your own. Then you'll go and back into the marketplace, get the bear template, save that template as your own. And then there's a series of triggers that in the bear template, it already has the strategy built into the template in multiple TA settings. So maybe I'll give a little example here in a second. Let me just log into the account that I have that running on.
So Dylan, will this work with all strategies and signals?
So it's suggested to run with swing trade, large cap, and DCA King, but you can easily adapt it to run with any of the strategies. I just suggested that because, the hero strategies like Ultimate and Pro and Breakout do require a hero subscription.
Sure.
But if you wanted to, switch your AI over, we did add a 50% discount for Bear template installations because it is a bit of a complicated process. Just the Bear template itself, the setup guide has 68 steps. So we're offering a 50% discount for installations. And I can install it on any setup that you have. So if you have like a full AI setup, or if you're running a specific strategy with specific, settings in your base configuration, we can work around all of that and get the Bear template to switch between that and, turning on the Bear template as needed via the algorithm and the trigger system. So
I just might add to that too that the Bear template is free. There's no cost for the Bear template. We've always said that that's going to be free. So it's been months in the making, and Dylan's perfected it. So that's available now. There is an installation guide, so that's been added to our setup guides. That installation guide will go into detail, like Dylan mentioned, over 60 steps of how to install. But for those who are a bit cautious in stuffing something up, we've done a install service with a discounted rate, so that's 50% off. So that'll be
actually. I can go ahead and share my screen too, just to kind of.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Share screen. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So Mark's asked a question too, just whilst you're loading that up. Is the bear template to be used in any place of any other templated? So I think he means, is it replacing any other template?
So I was discussing, we had a good long discussion earlier, Tony and I, about the fact that you can run the bear template just as it is, even in bullish conditions. It's just going to be a very conservative template. Mm-hmm. The whole idea with the bear template is to be used in conjunction, so it'll switch automatically between your current template that you have on, let's just say, like swing trade strategy or DCA King or large cap, really any strategy or AI setup. You'll basically use that as your bullish template. Mm-hmm. And then it'll switch via triggers, which I have up on the screen here just to show you. It'll switch via triggers between those templates. So, yeah, basically, like, here's like an example of a trigger. So this is the switch to bear template trigger, because the mathematics had just gotten triggered for switching to the bull template right around 19,000 for Bitcoin. So it actually just switched, which is kind of a good sign. That's cool. But it actually just switched to the bullish template. So this would be a switch back, so it had the bearish template installed, and then this would be, it switched to the bullish template. So next time when the mathematics get hit to switch back to the bear template, these are the mathematics that it's running off of. So obviously we'll have exchange specific in a couple of days. We just launched the official KuCoin one today, but it basically runs off of the market oscillator, which is Bitcoin, on the 1-day chart. And we use the EMA. Whenever the EMA signals a buy order, it's kind of opposite, because when it signals a buy, EMAs are lagging indicators. So when it signals a buy, it's actually switching to the bearish template. So basically we have the inputs 10, 38, and then what is it going to do? It selects the action of loading a template and then switches to the classic bear template. And then it does not overwrite or reset your triggers, so that when it switches to the other template, it doesn't, overwrite the trigger saying to switch back. So that's pretty much that. Cooldown 15 minutes. That's not really going to matter, because it's going to be days, if not weeks, in between switches for the most part. And I might even make some modified versions of the template, which is a little bit more aggressive, which would just be lowering the candle size on here. But for ease of use, we have it set to 1 day at the moment. So that's that.
I cut out there for a moment, but in the link I posted in the chat for any platform you're watching this on, that is a link directly to our website's education section, and that particular link goes directly to an article about bear templates. So, any of the stuff we just talked about, you can go ahead and read it yourself also, and it's got direct links to how you set up your install. Also, if you want to look at the setup guide yourself, and then also where to get it in the Crypto Hopper marketplace.
Yeah.
And essentially, I guess I could just show you, because I can switch it back easily. But basically, let's just say, this one's running on an Explorer subscription. So let's just say I were to load the bear template right here, classic bear template, and I load the template. So basically what happens over here is if I go to strategy, it already has in the template the multiple TA settings. So basically the strategy is embedded into the template. So this is the, basically the bear strategy, if you will, that's already embedded into the template. So it's unique in the fact that most signal providers definitely wouldn't just automatically embed a strategy into their template. So it's a little bit of a freebie, but you can see all the mathematics right here for what the bear template would do. And then you can, of course, when you upload the bear template, you can go back test it as well. So we can come over here and let's just say back test it against, we'll load the existing configuration. and you can basically backtest it against a certain period of time on a specific coin. So Aave, for example, this is going to backtest a much longer period of time because we're doing the multiple TA. So you're able to see you would have gained by using the bear template and the bear template alone about 43% on these trades that it had done through the course of, since about May when everything was dropping pretty heavily. So it would have it would be switching between the bullish template and the bearish template, of course, as well. So just using the bearish template, you could have gained, from May about 43%, on this single coin, right? And that's, we're not using really DCA settings or anything like that. So it's very, very simple in comparison to a lot of things that we have. But the difficult part was the trigger mechanism, which definitely I would recommend a professional install by myself. And that's why we have the 50% discount installation.
If we may for a moment, Mark had a couple questions here. He was first asking if it's only for KuCoin and if there are more exchanges coming soon.
Yes, through the rest of this week, every classic template will have a matching bear classic template. KuCoin was just the first one that we got done because that's where we prefer to trade for the most part. But FTX, FTX US, Binance US, Kraken, I think Bitpanda and Huobi, all of those will have their own templates. But you can easily change the template to whatever exchange you want by changing it in the exchange tab of your base config. But I'm going to make individual templates that you can download for each exchange as well. Our buddy Free Willy says, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good to see you here.
Let's see. I guess we could.
To be honest, ask a quick question, Dylan. So just for the likes of Mark, if he was to book an install session today and is not using KuCoin, could you set that up for him?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So Mark, just so you know, mate, that's available to you if you want to book an install session and want it up and running today. Dylan can help you with that.
Yep, and my calendar is pretty open this week. Couple of appointments scheduled already, but yeah, definitely room for any bear template installations because, like I said, it's 68 steps and it's very specific. And especially if you want to do something like for another exchange or you already had a configuration, there's various things that can that I can definitely help ease along there.
All right. Let's see what else. So we actually did something relatively interesting earlier this week. You might end up seeing Killer Whale in a documentary. So we basically responded to a casting call for different companies around Miami that work in crypto. And I will go ahead and drop the link in the chat here. But essentially, this group it's the travel board here in Miami, and they're trying to just kind of, get more excitement built up around why Miami is the crypto capital. And we were on the list of people that were called about that. So, nothing's in stone yet, but that's kind of one of the other things we've been doing in the outside of, what you normally see.
Yep. So that was really interesting. They basically asked us questions about why do you think Miami should be, the crypto capital of the world, the hub for the industry, things like what brought you to Miami. I
just dropped that link.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can definitely check that out. It's very interesting, and we were part of probably 30 or 40 people that got called, and it was actually really just a networking event, kind of chilling out with all these other industry professionals that had been called to the casting call. It was a really focused group of individuals.
It was.
Everyone from celebrity hosts who we're going to be interviewing here shortly. And then, everyone down the line of blockchain enthusiasts to influencer to industry professional, people that have worked at exchanges, traders like ourselves. So it was very interesting to be able to hang out with all those kinds of people.
It was. And we got a lot of their contact information too. So a lot of really, morning BB, of a lot of our most interesting contacts we got from that are very, happy to potentially, talk to all you guys as well. So.
Yeah, we want to set up some interviews with some of these people in the next week or two here, so that'll be interesting.
With the market in a bit of a downturn at the moment, what are people working on in crypto in Miami at the moment?
So we've decided to coin the term. Instead of saying bear market, we're saying builders market now.
Builders market.
So there's basically, that was one of the topics, is what's everybody working on while everything's down, and for us, it's making sure that we have the ability for people to, use safer strategies when everything's low, like the classic bear template, all the way to continuing to build what we already have and improve upon things within the platform. As many of you know, Crypto Hopper is in beta for their copy hopper. So that's what we've been working on a lot, is just providing a product that's high frequency trading. Not, that's the kind of trading, that's, not been in the wheelhouse of Killer Whale, but we want to offer the products to people, if they want to do something that's on a shorter time frame. Mostly we do macro kinds of things, as you all may know: swing trading, position trading, dollar cost averaging, large cap coins. But we're definitely turning a new leaf, because in these times you want to see, a lot of action, and, have metrics in place that'll help everything, help the wheels keep turning while we are in these downward swings. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, probably go into a couple of the charts here. There's an interesting turn of events on total. Here, I'll just go ahead and share my screen again. Share screen.
Here you are.
All right. Don't mind all the crazy lines. I promise they all mean stuff. But basically, we're looking at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin's been in an ascending channel since about August of this year. So, last month had a bit of a turn into a descending channel, which typically are inherently bullish patterns. So we saw a small descending channel within the descending wedge pattern. So there was a small descending channel, a breakout, which took us up approximately about 15%. And that's what caused this lower downward sloping level of resistance. Ever since then, we've kind of just been tracking in this descending wedge pattern. Typically, descending wedge patterns have breakouts the size of the structure at the time of the breakout. So the first target would be the size of the structure on the top side. Second target would be the size of the structure on the bottom side. We still have yet to see it come back to test that level of resistance. So that's kind of what we're waiting for on Bitcoin at the moment. It's basically a push towards, back around 21,000 or so. Mm-hmm. That would keep the pattern valid. And then if we look at total, the total chart is looking a little sad, not going to lie, because we had just previously found support on the secondary parabolic trend line. But as you can see, we formed a descending channel and then breached the secondary parabolic trend line about a week or so ago. It tested it as resistance, came back above it, so kind of had a little bit of a fake out on the total. The total is the totality of all cryptocurrencies, and since they pretty much all move together, it's a good metric to look at in determining what the entire market's doing. So we did break through it, found resistance again, and since then have gone to the bottom of the channel, actually touching it today. So what we need to see is basically for it to come back up and breach this level again. Will that happen? That's kind of the question we're up in the air about right now, because we had hit previous targets from this previous sideways channel. Now we're in a descending channel, which is inherently a bullish pattern, but with all the bearish price action, a lot of these types of patterns have not been finding their top targets, more so stopping short of their top targets. So unfortunately, not such a hot picture at the moment on the total chart. If we want to see things turn around, we'll need to see a breakout above $1 trillion in market cap again. If there was a breakout above $1 trillion in market cap, we could easily say the top target, which, like I said, typically has not been reached in this type of bearish action, would put us back up to about $1.18 trillion, which would be, which would put us back above the secondary parabolic trend line as well. So basically, we're just fighting to control this area, the blue line, which was measured, sometime back around 2018, 2019, 2020. So it's amazing how well it's interacted even years after the fact. So yeah, that's the top target. Basically we just want to push back above about 1 trillion, and we could see a little bit more, of a bullish bounce, but at the time being, not looking super hot. And then again, we're going to look at the S&P 500 here, which did have a positive day today, but as you can see, never even reached the target of the bearish bat pattern that was formed over the course of basically from April until where we are now. Was forming this bearish bat pattern, and you can see just how bearish it is because it never got to the target. Got pretty close within within about $150 or so, but yeah, never quite reached that target. Typically they will it didn't quite reach the target. So typically bearish bat patterns will either hit or exceed. Usually they don't come up short too much, but you can see at the time there was also a bearish Gartley pattern that had formed as well. So just a lot of bearish patterns forming on the longer term time frames. And the S&P 500, you can see clearly didn't even reach its target and then dropped back, pretty significant amount. Yeah, from turnaround. Yeah, we've seen a minus 11% drop since that turnaround. So yeah, nothing's looking incredible at the moment, but I would say we have to be getting to some sort of bottoming area based upon previous Fibonacci levels. One of those being around, the previous low in June, which was about 17,400. So we could be forming an even larger technical bottom on Bitcoin too if this never actually reaches below the 17.4 region. It actually has a higher likelihood of pushing to the upside again. But like I said, there's just such bearish price action for months and months now. A lot of these don't reach their targets when they do perform to the upside. So that's kind of where we're at. One more I wanted to talk about. The only coin that I've been rolling through on our suggested coin list, and even more than that, is Algorand, which does have a pretty bullish setup at the moment. But if Bitcoin can't come out to play, then Algorand won't either. It basically just broke out of a very steep descending channel, which is inherently a really bullish type of setup, especially since it's been within this parallel channel for quite some time. So, I measured the lower target because we haven't been reaching our top targets. So Algorand could possibly see a rise of about 30% more from where we're at if Bitcoin wants to come out to play. Other than that, yeah, a lot of these other coins just have been kind of just hanging out around their local bottoms around, minus 70 to 90% from all-time highs. So definitely very bearish, but that's why we came out with the bear templates, now while everything's low, so that you can slow your roll a little bit. And hopefully once everything turns back around, those bull templates will kick back in and off to the races once again. How long will that take? Not entirely sure, but we can use things like Fibonacci time zones, which I could go into on another video, or we could go into in an article or something like that. So that's pretty much where we're at today.
Wait, I've got a question for you. How is the high frequency trading stuff going?
Well, it's in beta. We did have a slight issue a couple of weeks ago in which I was talking with Crypto Hopper and seems to be resolved. I have several different accounts that I'm monitoring right now that have all of their positions synced accordingly. I have it running on the lowest frequency for high frequency, which really isn't making a whole lot of trades at the moment. But with all this bearish price action, it's kind of hard to say, okay, let's turn up the volume, you know? So everything's running very, very slowly at the moment. I wouldn't even consider it high frequency. It's more of a scalping situation right now, but that is also due to the fact that we've been having such bearish price action. I don't feel comfortable turning up the volume into, you know, this sideways downward, you know, type of market structure that we've been in. But as soon as we have, you know, like we had some pretty good opportunities for swing trades about a month ago. You know, we hit like 100% on Chili's. We hit, you know, some like 60, 70% trades. So when the opportunity arises, you best believe I'm going to be swing trading the heck out of it and turning the volume up. But we just need to see some more bullish price action. And then on top of that, yep, Mark Donahue's, he's in there, and he said, we haven't seen that issue come back. So good you got that fixed with CH. Yeah, I wouldn't want to turn the volume up in a downturn and then also have, you know, because the day that we did have that decoupling of my account to the users' accounts was on a day that it was, you know, Bitcoin dropped by like 10%. So kind of a fiasco. So while it's in beta, we're just kind of taking it a little bit slower here and making sure that all the processes work. And they have been. So as soon as I see some, you know, bullish type price action or, you know, swing trade type setups, I will definitely be increasing the volume on that substantially.
And our good friend Darren's got $1 million question.
Where do you see the market in 12 months time? Well, hopefully if we were to follow the secondary parabolic trend line on total, if we were just to follow that line, we would possibly be around, still not even back to previous ATH for the total chart, but we'd probably be around somewhere in the $2 trillion region, 2 to 2.4 trillion. If we just followed the secondary parabolic trend line, which should in theory, you know, that of course this was measured before COVID and, you know, the economic downturn that we've had and everything else. So that was the least optimistic target back in 2019. So I would hope that we could at least reach the least optimistic target and about this time next year be around 2 trillion. So that would be maybe 100% rise in the totality of cryptocurrency. There is a ton of adoption going on right now too. Yeah. So you wouldn't even believe how many things are going on in Miami here. There's being bought and sold regularly, you know, crypto businesses like XR Labs that just got acquired by a big group of investors for metaverse type things, and, you know, having like an online marketplace for businesses that are in cryptocurrency. So there's tons of stuff going on. It's just not being reflected in the price action.
I mean, especially with, you know, the Ethereum merge actually happening as well. That allows, you know, institutional money to actually go into Ethereum for the first time ever because it's not being mined and there's such a low power consumption for the use of Ethereum now. It can actually be used for institutional money while sidestepping regulation. So hopefully we'll see that change pretty soon here too globally. But in Miami, it's been going pretty much the same as it's been going. So in a forward and, you know, right to the up direction for adoption in Miami anyways.
Yeah, up and to the right for adoption, down and to the right for price action.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's about everything I've got.
Yeah, mostly just hang in there, friends. You know, the tides will rise at some point, and we'll be sitting here ready to go. You know, we do this stuff every day, and one of the things I've been doing recently is just a bunch of studying. I've been studying a Oxford Mathematical Institute paper about limit orders and, you know, market making and latency arbitrage and all kinds of different things. So no shortage of studying going on in the background, that's for sure.
Mark's just thrown another quick question in.
Will you get a HFT web page to show the configurations as in, that is, yeah, I wish that I'm requesting that they have an info button, just like they do in the normal bots, to show you what the trailing stop losses and take profit and at stop loss and all that is, or even something like the configuration of like the config pools. I would love if they would show what the configuration is behind each position, because a lot of positions, they'll have, I'll have things run before the decoupling happened, and I had to slow everything down, basically stop. We sold all of our positions, but before I had to do that, I had tons of different config pools running with, ultra high frequency on specific coins, high frequency on other coins that all had different metrics and stop losses and trailing stop losses, and sell based on strategy, don't sell based on strategy. Some of them were swing trading. Some of them were using DCA King and large cap just to like enter into positions. I wish that, because there's so many different configurations that I'll be using, that they would provide some sort of like info button that told you that stuff. Maybe not the ability to change it necessarily, because that's what the normal bots are for, but at least to see what was going on. So I'll definitely request that, because I've had that question a few times now. Yeah, just at least an information button that would show what the metrics are, because they're kind of in the dark as the user, I've noticed as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
No.
Great.
Oh, good.
Chris, do you have any more?
We've got nothing, mate.
Tony, we're about to drop an announcement where to find the bear template setup guide, and we just made an announcement on our website, so we'll share that. And then it's live in the marketplace for KuCoin. And then again, if you want me to install it for you, we're going to include that in the announcement. So
yeah, I'll post that into the announcement on Discord.
Yep, and then of course also we've got to our article that shows you how to do all that in the very top of the feed for this video, and the questions as well. So
cool.
Awesome. All right, fellas. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, and change the way you trade.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Take care.